They fell in love online, only to meet at a family reunion. A romantic drama with a shocking twist. Samantha Rivers wasn't searching for love when she stumbled across the poetry forum. It was a rainy evening in Nashville, the kind where the clouds felt too heavy for the sky, and she had just finished scribbling a poem about loneliness and forgotten dreams. On a whim, she posted it. She never expected anyone to respond. But within minutes, a message popped up from a user named Northstar89. You write like you've been hurt, but you still believe. Something about that sentence made her pause. Her heart fluttered, not out of romance, but recognition. He had seen her. The version of her she didn't show anyone, not even her best friends. She replied, "I write to make sense of the silence." And just like that, it began. Their connection blossomed over long nights filled with messages. Samantha and Northstar89 shared poems, secrets, and thoughts too vulnerable for daylight. They never exchanged names, photos, or social media handles. That was their rule. Anonymity made it easier to be honest. Real names didn't matter. What mattered was the comfort, the truth, the warmth of being understood. He told her about his love for astronomy and books. She told him about her fear of abandonment and the ache of growing up without a mother. He confessed he had trouble sleeping. She said that sometimes she felt invisible. He made her feel real. She made him feel whole. Weeks turned into months. Every night, she waited for his message like a heartbeat. She began to know his rhythms, when he'd be online, the way he used when he was nervous, how he always responded to her poems with one line of his own. One evening, after a particularly emotional exchange about loss and childhood trauma, he typed something different. "Do you think it's possible to fall for someone you've never met?" Samantha hesitated, staring at the screen. She read his question 5 times before she replied, "I didn't, until you." From that moment on, the tone shifted. What was once a gentle connection turned into something deeper, intimate, romantic. No declarations, no overt flirting, just a slow-burning truth building between them like a sunrise waiting for permission to rise. They started calling each other star and poet. They talked about the future in hypotheticals. If we met, would you still like me? Would we have coffee or run? The questions became more frequent. Then one day, he said it. "I want to meet you." Samantha's pulse quickened. She had imagined this moment, feared it, craved it. They had built a castle in the clouds. Was it time to land? "Me too," she typed, her fingers trembling. He told her he'd be visiting Tennessee in July to see extended family. She laughed. What were the odds? Her dad had just told her they'd be attending a rare family reunion that same month in a place called Maple Hollow. They picked a day to meet, the morning before the reunion, a tiny cafe near the park. She planned her outfit days in advance, checked her reflection 10 times, and replayed every message he ever sent. But fate had other plans. The morning of the reunion arrived first. Samantha figured she'd go, make a quick appearance, then leave for the cafe. Her father hadn't seen most of his relatives in decades, and while she barely knew any of them, she didn't want to seem ungrateful. She wore a floral dress, tied her curls up, and practiced her polite smiles. The rented hall was loud, warm, and buzzing with old memories. People she didn't recognize hugged her, saying, "You've grown so much, and you look just like your mother." Her father looked proud, glowing with nostalgia. She tried to pay attention, but her thoughts were on him, on Star. Would he recognize her from across the cafe? Would he still feel the same? Then it happened. She turned to grab a glass of lemonade and froze. Across the room, near the dessert table, stood a tall figure. Familiar posture, hands in pockets, slightly messy dark hair. It was him. She knew before she saw the name tag. Their eyes met, and something electric passed between them. But it wasn't joy. It was confusion. Then, recognition. She read his name tag. Lucas Rivers. Her own last name. Aunt Maria's son. Her cousin. Her legs turned to water. Her vision swam. No, this couldn't be real. But her father's voice, casual and cheerful, made it real. "Sam, come meet your cousin Lucas. You haven't seen him since you were babies. Maria's boy, remember?" Lucas, Star, looked just as stunned. They shook hands like strangers. Inside, something shattered. They found each other outside, behind the building, under the weight of a truth neither had seen coming. "I didn't know," Lucas said, breathless. "Me either." They laughed. A broken laugh. A tragic one. "I was going to kiss you," he whispered. "I thought this would be the beginning." She looked away, tears pooling. "I thought it already was." They stood there, two souls caught in the cruelest of jokes. Over the next week, they didn't message. Not once. Their silence screamed louder than their love ever had. Samantha tried to forget him, threw herself into work, deleted the app, stayed offline. But her heart wasn't cooperative. Then a letter arrived. Old school. Ink on paper. His handwriting. "Dear poet." He told her how hard it had been not to write. How he hadn't just fallen for her words, but for her. That he had never felt more understood in his life. That even if they couldn't have the ending they imagined, he didn't regret a moment of it. "You made me believe in soulmates," he wrote. "I just wish the universe had better timing." The letter ended with one sentence that would stay with her forever. "In another life, I would have married you." Samantha cried, but she also smiled. Because not all love stories end with forever. Some end with a knowing glance across a family reunion. Some live in letters, in poetry, in memory, and sometimes the greatest love stories are the ones we're not allowed to keep.